No one is more qualified to give an opinion about great movies than Christopher Nolan. First, he knows how to make a hit. His movies have earned over $6.6 billion globally, making him the 7th highest grossing film director of all time. He also has 2 Oscars, a Golden Globe Award, and 2 British Academy Film Awards to his name. His success is hardly surprising, considering that he started making short films at 7, according to the book The Christopher Nolan, the Iconic Filmmaker and His Work. The celebrated director, who tends to lean towards the sci-fi genre, has openly expressed his admiration for films such as 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Wars, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The book further reveals that he preferred the iconic George Lucas film when he was younger, watching it numerous times and researching Lucas's filmmaking techniques. But Nolan doesn't just like the blockbusters. He likes a couple of underrated films that either failed to get recognised for awards or never made big bucks, or both. Welcome to Popcorn Programming. Here is our list of 8 underrated films that Christopher Nolan, our one true film god, recommends. Pop pop! In number 8 we have The Hit from 1984. Stitches always get stitches in movies, or at least someone tries to make them get stitches. In The Hit, a man decides to sing against his criminal counterparts to the authorities, but as he's being led from the witness box at his trial, they also sing the Vera Lynn song We'll Meet Again to him. True to their promise, they nab him years later, intending to take him to Paris for execution. But will things play out as planned? Few films have gambled as much on a simple portrayal of the dynamics between desperate men. No one declared the Criterion about Stephen Frears' underrated crime movie starring Tim Roth. They say if you want to shoot, don't talk, but here, the gangsters talk more than they shoot. Interestingly, such an approach works really well. The golden quotes will stick to your brain, and so will the soundtrack by Spanish flamenco guitarist Paco de Lucia. In number 7 we have Bad Timing from 1980. Nick Rogue's Bad Timing introduces us to the Vienna-based psychiatrist Alec Linden, played by Art Garfunkel, who is living a rather boring life until he meets the young Milena Flaherty, played by Teresa Russell. Attracted to her carefree attitude, Alex falls in love with her, despite being married. But this bliss doesn't last. Milena has an overdose and Alex gets singled out as a suspect. The British psychological drama moves you and educates you on the little do's and don'ts of relationships. There are instances of rape and sexual assault, so do be warned. So controversial is this film, it was branded a sick film made by sick people for sick people by its distributor, the Rank Organisation, but unreleased on home video in America until 2005. Questions can be raised about Bad Timing's concept, but it's a beautifully shot film, something that no one really loved. He told Criterion that Nick Rogue's films are known for their structural innovation, but it's great to be able to see them in a form that also shows off their photographic excellence. In number 6 we have Merry Christmas Mr. Lawrence from 1983. Merry Christmas Mr. Lawrence stars David Bowie as a British soldier who gets captured by Japanese forces during World War II and held in a POW camp. He remains defiant, and as tensions rise, a translator tries to create peace between the two parties. Nolan was always a big fan of David Bowie, so much so they cast him in The Prestige. His love for the actor-singer started with music, then grew after he watched him in Merry Christmas Mr. Lawrence. The American-Japanese picture isn't the first thing that comes to mind whenever one thinks of the best 80s war movies. Still, no one has admitted that few films have been able to capture David Bowie's charisma, but Oshima's wartime drama is tailor-made for his talents. Bowie's performance is indeed the best thing about the movie, and the star confessed it was all possible because Oshima granted him carte blanche. According to Bowie, the Japanese director micromanaged everyone else, but told Bowie to please do whatever it is you people do. In number 5 we have Mr. Arkadin from 1955. In Mr. Arkadin, the well-heeled Gregory Arkadin, played by Orson Welles, claims not to recall anything that happened before the late 1920s. He enlists the ex-con Guy Van Straten, played by Robert Arden, to do some digging into his past, and the findings are stunning. Why are there so many untimely deaths linked to Mr. Arkadin? Mr. Arkadin isn't as celebrated as other works, but no one really likes the drama for preserving the heartbreaking glimpses of Welles' genius. The filmmaker is spot on. The movie captures all aspects of Orson Welles' talent, such as his use of unreliable narrators to create greater ambiguity and the dependence on non-linear storytelling. Even better, it looks like a fine painting, which is unsurprising considering that it was shot in Costa Brava, Valladolid, Segovia, Madrid, the French Riviera, and the Chateau de Chalon in Switzerland. Quite a little holiday trip that would be, wouldn't it? In number 4 we have Greed from 1924. Based on Frank Norris's 1899 novel McTeague, Greed concerns housewife Trina McTeague, played by Sazu Pitts, whose life changes for the worse after she wins the lottery. Tensions build between her and her dentist husband, John, played by Gibson Gowland, partly because of her paranoia, and partly because of manipulation by her friend Marcus, played by Jean Hersholt. By my avant-garde visionary director Erich von Stroheim, Greed is a work of absolute genius according to Nolan. Van Stroheim was very enthusiastic while making it. He famously shot 85 hours of footage on location in and around San Francisco, something that was unheard of at the time. The film thus frees itself from the stage feel of other silent era productions. In addition to that, von Stroheim employed sophisticated techniques such as montage editing and deep focus cinematography. We can really see why Nolan loved it. In number 3 with The Right Stuff from 1983. Based on Tom Wolfe's 1979 book of the same name, The Right Stuff takes us through the first 15 years of America's space program. The film prioritizes the 7 people who were selected to be astronauts for Project Mercury, the first human spaceflight mission commissioned by the United States. The Right Stuff bombed at the box office, but is aesthetically pleasing thanks to location shooting at various airbases and the use of real aircraft. Nolan credits as a heavy influence on Interstellar. You can't pretend 2001 doesn't exist when you're making Interstellar, but the other film I have to point to is The Right Stuff, he told IGN. I screened a print of it for the crew before we started because that's a film that not enough people have seen on the big screen. It's an almost perfectly made film. It's one of the great American movies and people don't quite realise how great it is, probably because it's 4 hours long. In number 2 we have Insomnia from 1997. The Norwegian thriller Insomnia is a chaotic film about a detective whose mental health tumbles after he commits the same kind of crime that he is investigating. While investigating a murder in a town in the Arctic Circle, the lawman accidentally shoots his partner and tries to cover it up. Consequently, insomnia and remorse overwhelm him. Good things are bound to happen when you blend semi-noir with psychological discourse. Insomnia makes you think, even when the protagonist isn't doing the same, and its twist leaves you clapping. Christopher Nolan loved the movie that much that he made a remake, the only time he's remodeled an existing picture. It was liberating in a lot of ways because you're able to just engage with the material as a director, Nolan told State Hornet. You're coming into it as a latter stage, so you're giving a quite effective, objective view of the material before you dive in. On the other hand, you do inherit a lot of problems from somebody else's brain. And number 1, we have The Hitcher from 1986. The Hitcher will leave you with trust issues and make you speed past any stranger who tries to stop your car. In it, a man transporting a car to San Diego picks up a hitchhiker named John Ryder, played by Rutger Hauer, only to learn that he is a serial killer. He escapes from the criminal's claws, but after seeing him murder a family, he decides to pursue him. Will it end well? The film was only made on a budget of $7.9 million, yet it still brought less than that. Watching it now, one can't help but feel that 80s audiences were unwise to ignore it. This is arguably one of the finest road horror movies ever made, featuring incredible death-proof like car chase sequences, a few memorable scares, and a strong central performance, and no one really approves. As a teenager, I never questioned the logic of this 80s chiller, but now it seems mind-bendingly arbitrary plot-wise, no one told Film Comment. However, it does feature the criminally underappreciated Rutger Hauer in his finest and most influential Euro-psycho performance this side of Blade Runner. Nolan liked Hauer so much that he cast him as the CEO of Wayne Enterprises in Batman Begins. And there you have it, there is our list. So what do you think? Why is an underrated gem of a film that you would recommend? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you're new around here. That's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Pop pop!